So I was asked to go over number 19 here, okay? So I am just going to do it this way because I don't feel like booting up my computer because it makes it a little simpler this way. So let's go over number 19. So for any of these ones where you're solving, really any of them that you're using the trig ratios, I'm going to go ahead and write above it. I'm going to go ahead and write out so, ka, toa. Okay? So that I kind of know what the trig ratios are. And all this stands for is that sine is equal to the opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And then the tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so those are the three different trig ratios that we're using. And so I'm going to start out by doing that, and then I'm going to label the sides we got. So look at the angle we're looking at. This one right here, you can see what one is marked clearly. 21 degrees there. So the one directly across from the right angle, I always do first, because that's always the hypotenuse. The one that touches that angle, so the one that comes off of that angle, but isn't the hypotenuse, so this one is the adjacent side, because it's directly adjacent to that problem, or directly adjacent to that angle. And then the one directly opposite that angle is going to be the opposite side, because it's directly opposite that that angle. Ooh, sorry, directly opposite that angle. So now we're going to look at the ones that are labeled. We have 12 here and we have x. So we're looking for the one that has x, and we know the side that has 12, or the side that's written as 12 is 12 long. We don't know what that one is, so we're not going to look at it. So we need to see which of these trig ratios has the adjacent and the hypotenuse. Well, sine has opposite and hypotenuse, so it's not going to work. Cosine has adjacent and hypotenuse, so we're going to use it. So I'm just going to say cosine, and we can use theta. That's usually what they use in books or any other papers. This makes it a little confusing sometimes, but once you understand what it means, it's simple. So I'm going to write it and then I'll explain it. And it's equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay. So I'm going to explain what theta is now. Theta, just like any other variable, is just going to be like a number. So in this case, theta would be 21 because it's the cosine of that angle. So the cosine of whatever angle you're looking at, that's all it means. It's a placeholder for an angle. Okay? So cosine of whatever that angle is equal to the adjacent side of that angle divided by the hypotenuse of that triangle. Okay, so cosine, like I said, theta is 21. Okay, you don't really have to write the degrees on there for these kind of problems. For me, other teachers will have you do it. Adjacent is x divided by the hypotenuse is 12. Okay, and we're just going to solve for x. So we can do anything we want to, just like we usually would solve. So in this case, we're dividing by 12, so I'll multiply by 12 on both sides. Okay, cosine of 21 is just a number. If you type it in your calculator, you're going to get a decimal from 0 to 1. So cosine of 21 times 12 is what's going to give you x. So if we actually just say x is equal to, we can solve for that using our calculator. So first step when you're using the calculator to do trig, make sure you're in degree mode. So just like when you have a measurement of a length, you can do it in inches or feet, and 1 inch is not the same as 1 foot. You can also do angles into different measurements. So you can measure it in radian or degree. You can see here there are radian and degree. So I clicked the mode button on this calculator. Okay, I go down till I see the radian and degree options. If it's clicked on radian, you need to go over and make sure it's measuring in degrees. Degree and radian are just two ways to measure angles, and we know how to measure an angle in degrees. So we literally just need to type 12 times cosine of 21. You don't need the degree. 12 times the cosine 21. That's it. Click enter. Round it to one place past the decimal. 12.2. We don't go up because the number next to it, so the 0, is just a 0. And it's not more than 5, or 5 or more. Okay, so you got 11.2. So this side here is 11.2. And that's all you have to do for that kind of a problem. Write out the different ratios, figure out what one works with the ones you've got, so label the adjacent, hypotenuse, and opposite, and then plug in the values you have, and just type it in a calculator once you solve for the side you need. If you guys need any help on any of the other problems, let me know, and if you have a different calculator than this one, let me know what kind of calculator you have, send me a picture of it or whatever, and I can tell you how to make sure it's in degree mode. But I hope you guys are having fun and staying safe. I hope this helped a lot.